Spence, I think, beats Ugas, which is going to be just up the road from you in Dallas.
Yep.
AT&T, baby, get ready for it. I think Errol Spence will move to 154. That's the plan.
I feel real good.
What do you think, Carlito? What do you think, Spence? Do you think Spence will move up?
I feel like, depending on how he does, I feel like in the ring, because I know the last fight, the last outing, and then he was supposed to have a really good end of the year. Got an injury, and now fighting Ugas, that fought Manny Pacquiao, the legend. I feel real good about that fight, and I feel like it's going to be, it's going to make his career, Errol Spence, like, go further.
Yeah, I think so too. Like, I think Spence is one of those guys where he's got a little bit of stuff to clean up there at 47.
Yep.
And this is the hard thing. Once he beats Ugas, which I think he should. I think he'll walk Ugas down late in the fight and beat him. I think if he can't get that Terence Crawford fight at 147, and we don't know where Crawford's going to go. We think Crawford could go to PBC. He definitely ain't going to fuck with Top Rank. He could go over to Matchroom. He could go and do – we don't know where he's going to go. Personally, I think he should go with Floyd. That's my opinion. But Spence versus Crawford is the fight we all want to see. We might not see it at 47. We might see it at 154, but it's a tricky one.
Yeah, for real. And, the biggest fight that I really want to see this year is, I want to see George in Australia
100%.
Showcase his belts against Devin Haney. And if that match could happen, that match could happen. I know there's a bunch of, a little controversy going on between them making the fight in Australia.
Look, yeah.
Hopefully they do make it happen, and showcase, just like, your boy Horn did against Manny, and see what happens.
Look, I was thinking about this today when I was driving back, and I was thinking about Jeff Horn's comparison to George's, and I broke it down. I was driving away thinking about, Rico Mueller, Faneca, Randall Bailey, and some of the fights that Jeff Horn in his lead up to Manny Pacquiao, Faneca obviously in New Zealand. I thought about George's with Selby, with Mickey Bay, and then obviously with Tiafomo. Man, they were tougher fights. He's fighting better fighters, for instance. Manny Pacquiao was no Tiafomo Lopez. Tiafomo Lopez was the biggest, baddest so-called guy on the block at 135. And mate, it's the same thing, mate. I hit a bad golf shot. I can make an excuse. Tiafomo, we struggled with the weight cut. This wasn't going right. We can all say that. If he had knocked George Kambosos out in round one, he would have said, man, my prep was best. I'm more focused. I'm in love with God. Everything's just great right now. Blah, blah, blah. Motherfucker, you got axed. You got iced in round one. You got chin check. The thing is with George has done it the hard way. So right now, George needs his respect in the whole boxing fraternity. And I'm one of the guys that, and I give him more respect than anyone because he right now has what everyone wants. He has all the belts.
Yep.
So it doesn't matter, Devin Haney. You can talk all this shit online. What you want, Devin Haney, George has got. What you want, Lomachenko, George has got. What you want, Ryan Garcia. And to be honest, what you want, Tank, George has got. And it sits in Sydney, Australia.
Yep.
But the thing is, it didn't get created in Sydney, Australia. It went out on the road in Florida. It went out on the road in Asia, in the Philippines. It went out on the road in Macau. George he's a worldwide motherfucker. And the thing is with him, he went and then took all that game, bottled it all up, bang, threw it at Tiafomo, and it started 5 months before the fight. He was already in this motherfucker's head, chin-checking him, second-guessing him. When it came down to the fight, it was like art of war. It was like plan, plot, strategize to bomb first. Tupac said it. And he did that to Tiafomo. I actually believe with Teofimo, you're going to be a better fighter because of George Kambosos. I look at Canelo Alvarez. Canelo Alvarez is the so-called fighter of today because of Floyd Mayweather. He chin-checked you. You were like this hot young kid, 23, 24. Floyd put you in your place. Floyd was 36. George Kambosos put Teofimo Lopez in his place on November the 27th. And believe that, because when you look back on it right now, George, there's a lot of shit going on in the sport, but George, he dictates all that. I don't give a fuck what Eddie Hearn and Matchroom say or Top Rank say. George has got what everything wants. He's got what everyone wants. He wants to do it here in Australia, where it's in the stadium or a big venue. Mate, after about 2 or 3 weeks, people could say, oh, you know what I mean? You know, the money's not right with DAZN. They're going to pay, bro. I'm telling you, one fighter is going to pay because at the end of the day, like I said before, I named 4 fighters. They all want what George has got.
Yep. And
it's dope.
At the end of the day, like, who would you want to see him fight this year? The first fight back, you know, defending the belts. Who do you think deserves a match with him?
I actually think about it from two point of views. I want to see him fight Devin Haney, but I also want to see him dust Lomachenko because I think he can knock Lomachenko out. I think if you know boxing, what I saw with George in the early rounds against Teofimo, when it was like when both boys were hot and you can get hit cold, George could knock Lomachenko out early in the fight. I'd love to see the Haney fight, to answer your question. I'd love to see the Lomachenko fight. Lomachenko a lot smaller. He's going to move more. Haney's going to box more off the lines. He's going to be quick and sharp. I think George has been there with these guys. You know, I think George beats Haney. I think he beats Lomachenko. Ryan Garcia is a good fight. It's like a media publicized fight. I don't think Garcia deserves to fight George Kambosos yet. That's just my opinion. The Gervonta Davis fight, I personally think is the toughest fight for Kambosos. And I've said this to him personally. I think it is. George actually said, nah, Nick, no, it's not. And that's his opinion. And what he sees in the sport of boxing is a fucking lot more than I will ever see or ever know. George believes he can beat him more. I believe he can too. But to answer your question, I'd like to see the Haney fight. But then again, if Haney doesn't, if Matchroom and Eddie don't have the faith in Haney, I'd like to see the Lomachenko fight. But if Lomachenko's not willing to come down here, I don't think Ryan Garcia deserves that fight with Kambosos. So then you start throwing it back to Gervonta Davis, PBC, Floyd Mayweather Promotions. Do you bring that down? There's so many scenarios. But one thing that George knows, and Jim Kambosos, and shout out to Peter Garn and Lou DiBella, is they have the prize. They have it all here. You guys have got to come to us. Whether it's an American fighter, you know what I mean, Luke Campbell, you know, when he was fighting. George has everything right there. It's not a situation of, oh, we're going to talk shit on Twitter and then, oh, you know, I mean, George is going to come over there and dust Haney in Las Vegas in front of 7,000 people. George has already done that. Like, Devin Haney probably won't. Exactly.
That title. He well deserves being able to fight, you know, in his home, you know.
100%. And the thing is, like I was making comparisons with Jeff Horn. Jeff Horn got the lottery. You know, I mean, the two biggest fighters of the last 20 years have been Floyd Mayweather and Manny Pacquiao. He got a Manny Pacquiao. Teofimo Lopez ain't a Manny Pacquiao, but Teofimo Lopez was a lot better fighter in his prime than when Jeff fought Manny Pacquiao. So the way I look at it is George has the right to do a fight down here, hopefully dust that guy, and mate, George might not fight again there for over in America for another 2 years because he's got all the belts. We dictate the show. It can't be always about America. You know, and here I am wearing the red, blue, and white. But do you know what I mean? Like,
it's true.
It's
true.
the same.
All the way. Are we going out tonight? All the way. I'ma chug the bottle, chug it up.